Hi guys, hi, I'm Steve Hui. I'm the founder and CEO of iFlyFlat, the points whisperer. I'm here with Lockie, my friend, and we're going to cover some of the questions that you guys have asked me on social media, and we'll keep this going, which again, lots and lots of questions. But this time around, we'll keep it to around the 10-minute mark because I can keep talking for ages, and you guys got to get on and do whatever you want to do. So let's kick it off.
Cool. So we got some good news this week. Obviously, we got some more news around the vaccine in development. So there's been some good news stories there.
The vaccine development also, I think what's really exciting is Australia has these deals where they are, that if the vaccine proves to be sort of working, that we're able to start manufacturing it. So I think that's got to jump on most countries in terms of getting the vaccine into our population and also reducing any more restarts to our economy. Whether that helps travel is yet to be seen. I think it's a bit more complex than that. But I think it's an overall health perspective for Australians, having access to the vaccine, whereas other countries would have to try and source it through other manufacturers and like that. That's huge. And that's one of the reasons why I guess living in Australia it's actually gold compared to other countries.
Oh, it sure is. We're so lucky, to be able to manufacture this locally. So fingers crossed for that guy. Also, I noticed Tripadvisor brought out their latest travel index, and there's some interesting data that came through there. So some of the summaries that they found were Australians are keen to visit beach destinations locally, which we've seen. There's been lots of people looking for local destinations, so like Broome, Byron Bay, Hamilton Island. I'm sure Tasmania will be on that list if the borders are open.
Although probably not beaches though. They're not known for their beaches.
Cold down there.
But I think Byron will be packed out soon. Yeah, that's huge.
Well, I'm from Queensland, and there's a lot of us that want to hit down at Byron, but because of the border, we can't right now. So we got the Gold Coast, so it's all good.
Yep. And you got the Sunshine Coast, and you got sort of Noosa. So you guys are pretty lucky. It's just the Victorians a bit trapped at the moment.
So the report said there's lots of short getaways, people looking for 5 nights, 3 nights. And interestingly, people are booking really close, often a week ahead. So, very short last minute trips. But of course, one of the safety is a big priority. So people being more observant about hotel cleanliness and the resorts. But there's an interesting quote here before we jump into the questions from Jane Lynn. She's a VP of Global Markets at Tripadvisor. And she says that despite the disruptions that COVID-19 has brought upon travel, it's heartening to see that 67% of Australian travellers continue to express that travel is important to them, even if they can't experience the world like they used to. So it's good to see that Aussies are still keen to travel and they still take it to heart, because we do love to travel. We can't travel globally at the moment. So that was encouraging to see that.
I'm with her. I 100% agree with her because we in our nature, we like to travel. Just because there's a pause at the moment doesn't mean we should drop that dream. We all know that travel will resume. What we just don't know is the timing. But because we all know that we will resume travel at some point, means that we should still thinking about ways that we want to go and be inspired by places. But definitely, I guess, like you said earlier, in the meantime, explore something local, close to you, spontaneous. Like when you said people booking only 1 week in advance, that's cool because that's like you looking to your next weekend and going, I want to do something and just be spontaneous about it. Whereas previously you would book weeks and months in advance. Also, that's good for something to look forward to. But I think the spontaneous living, there's something to be said about that. The old days where they used to have mystery flights, where you just rock up to the airport, you don't know where you're going. Yep. But that's a little bit of that. That means that you're going to go away, but you don't know where you want to go. That can be a lot of fun.
Yeah, true. Getting out and exploring the backyard, like we have so much in our backyard to find out. So let's jump into some questions. So just got 2 main questions and a bit of what's happening in the news. But Laurie asks, do you think international borders could open after December 17th? Obviously, they've extended it for another 3 months. Which countries could be the first to open, do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, so the government has a ability to extend this international travel ban for a 3-month period every time. So technically it can be indefinite, although I don't think that's practical. So they recently extended from September to December. I think that might be the last extension because right now, as you talked about, there's the things about vaccines and things like that. I think there's heaps of things happening in the background. The first countries to open up first, I think definitely New Zealand. That was in the discussion, in the works. The South Pacific, and then I think things like Singapore, even our large trading partners like Indonesia. That's apparently based on some other stats I read. There's a lot of travel to that because they're large trading partners. So I think that's will open up first. There will be a few ability to go to like Middle East and Europe, but I think most of the travel is actually going to be just around the Pacific region.
Yeah, I guess business travel would have a big part in that as well. It wouldn't just be the lifestyle holidays.
Yeah.
James asks, could airlines reopen flights without a vaccine? We've seen that Alan Joyce mentioned this week in the news, that fast pre-flight test. If we could get the test down to, a couple of hours or 15 minutes, that could be one of the keys to restarting international flights, being able to pre-test everyone, get them onto the plane, and off you go.
Yeah, and I think the Melbourne Airport CEO said something similar, where like I've heard an example like in the Cayman Islands, they test people before you board the plane. They test people on arrival, and then if you're negative, you're free to get on about whatever. But if you're positive, then you got to go into quarantine. So there are these super fast tests which are available now. Means that you can completely skip this whole 14-day quarantine in a hotel, because if you're tested to be negative, like sort of what's the point of being in a hotel? And I think there's still also a number of different tests. Some are more accurate than others, but I guess to just answer your question in a nutshell, yes, we can't wait for a vaccine, because if you wait for a vaccine, just because you've got one, it means that then we actually have to then distribute it to the population, administer it, and make sure it works. Just by having a vaccine in your hand is not the solution.
Yeah, and I guess it could take time to, even once we get the vaccine, to then roll it out across the entire country. So, yeah, it might be that we do find other solutions outside the vaccine to resume travel.
Yeah, you have to. There has to be other solutions then, hoping it resumes the old style. Like obviously the whole idea of vaccine is that then you don't have this virus restarting it, stopping the economy, and then you can resume travel as it once was. But I think in a way we have to give up the idea that it was once what it was before and adopt something brand new.
So more people will be fighting to get into business class.
Oh, for sure. Like I was in a chat channel the other day, and people were talking about, why would you fly 1 hour to Melbourne? Well, previously that was very good. It's like, why would you? There's only 1 hour. But nowadays, you know how in business class there's a toilet up front, and economy there's a toilet down the back. You fly in business class, you're basically sharing your toilet with only 8 people. You fly economy, you're sharing your toilet with a lot of people. And
it's 7 people versus 77. Yeah.
You definitely don't want to be going to your toilet on that flight. So I think that's one example of how business and economy is going to be very different.
Speaking of business, I noticed Velocity is running 30% off business class reward seats, which is something interesting. I was surprised when I got the email. I was thinking, okay, here we go.
It's pretty. That's super good timing, because it encourages you to fly business class. 30% off is a good deal. Like even on points already, flying business class is awesome. And plus, Virgin has a 20% bonus inbound. So I guess what they want to do is they want to kickstart the whole flow of points going into Velocity, because when Velocity went in administration, everyone ever cleared out their points or they stopped transferring points in.
Yeah.
And now that Bain capital has officially taken ownership, they're starting to open everything up, and that includes allowing you to flow points into Velocity, and then also they're encouraging you to use your points, because I guess it's catch-22, right? No one's going to put points into Velocity unless they can use them. So the 30% of business class and upgrades is to entice you to use them, which means you got to put points in before you can use them and get that flow going.
So all that bulk shopping we did during COVID, you got your flyby points building up there. It's time to transfer them in and book your next maybe domestic business class holiday around Australia.
Yep.
Now up to Christmas, I guess.
Yeah. So just keep an eye on those dates. There's different end dates, but obviously viewers can make their own inquiries. Yeah.
Last on the list, we got Qantas hotels. They're also doing a 20% off of points booking, and that's using the points plus pay. We were chatting before about usually we're not a recommended fan, but in this case, it could be an interesting deal.
Yeah, points plus pay typically means that one Qantas point is only worth about half a cent. So now with hotels being 20% off a points plus pay deal, it means that 1 point is worth about 0.6, 0.7 cents, which on financial scales is not top dollar. But the fact that these days the hotels are actually so cheap, so if you just book with cash is so cheap, means that using your points, and especially if you happen to have a bunch of cancelled redemption flights this year and all your points have flown back in, so now you might actually have too many points. So then other things worth doing. So for example, like QT Bondi, it's only selling for $183 in cash. But if you use your points, you get 20% off the points price. So that's pretty cheap for a local beach.
Yeah. Could be good for a night away.
Yeah, and getting warmer and stuff like that. I think there's some good deals to be had.
It's good. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up there. We'll keep it short.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for all your questions. And if you have any more, send them through. askSteve at iflyflat.com.au or just iflyflat on social media.
Yep. Send them through, guys.
All right. We'll chat again soon.
Cool. Bye.
See ya.